chosen one. God is warning you about your path. You are walking down a road you spent years building, but every step feels like wading through wet cement. The air is heavy. The sky is dark. Deep in your gut, a quiet, relentless voice whispers that you are going completely wrong way. Have you ever felt this kind of spiritual exhaustion? I want to hear your real story in the comments below, because this space is for honest conversations. It starts as a faint hum in the background of your busy life. You wake up, pour your coffee, check your phone, and do everything you are supposed to do. You smile at the people you are supposed to smile at. You chase the goals you were told would finally make you happy. But it doesn't feel right. It feels hollow. There is a strange, unexplainable friction in your daily existence. Things that used to bring you joy now feel like heavy obligations. The doors you desperately try to open keep slamming in your face. And the people you thought were walking beside you are suddenly drifting away, leaving you standing alone in a crowded room. We are taught to push through the resistance, hustle harder, grind it out, ignore the exhaustion, and just keep moving forward. So you do. You put your head down and you force it. You ignore the weariness in your bones that sleep cannot fix. You ignore the sudden bouts of anxiety that hit you in the quiet moments of the night. You tell yourself it is just a phase. You tell yourself everyone feels this way, but they do not. And it is not just a phase. It is a blockade, a divine intervention wrapped in the painful disguise of failure and frustration. You are a chosen one, and your path is being corrected, whether you are ready for it or not. Think about how heavy the air gets just before a massive storm. The birds stop singing. The leaves go perfectly still. The sky bruises into deep shades of purple and gray. There is an undeniable tension that something powerful is about to break open the sky. That is exactly what is happening in your life right now. You are in the dead silence before the lightning strikes. God, the universe, the higher power you feel in your quietest moments. It doesn't usually speak in booming voices from clouds. It speaks in closed doors. It speaks in sudden endings. It speaks in the absolute, crushing realization that the life you're living no longer fits the soul you are becoming. It hurts. Let's be entirely honest about that. It is deeply, profoundly painful to watch the life you planned fall apart. It is terrifying to realize that the mountain you spent years climbing is the wrong mountain. You probably feel betrayed. Maybe you feel foolish for trying so hard for so long. You look around at everyone else, and they seem so settled. They seem so perfectly content on their paved, predictable roads. Why does it have to be so hard for you? Why do you have to feel everything so intensely? Why can't you just settle for the ordinary life that seems to satisfy everyone else? Because you are not built for ordinary. The friction you are experiencing is not a punishment. It is friction. It is the heat generated by a soul rubbing up against a reality that is simply too small for it. When you are meant for a different path, everything on the wrong path will eventually become toxic to your spirit. The job will drain you. The relationships will feel shallow and forced. The environments will physically exhaust you. This is the divine warning. It is a spiritual alarm bell ringing in the corridors of your heart, pleading with you to stop. But stopping is the hardest part, isn't it? Stopping means admitting you are lost. Stopping means stepping off the moving walkway of society's expectations and standing still in the terrifying unknown. So we bargain. We compromise. We try to negotiate with the divine. We say, let me just stay a little longer. Let me just make this relationship work. Let me just get the next promotion, and then I will figure out my true purpose. We wrap our arms around things that are actively destroying us just because they are familiar. We would rather hold on to a familiar pain than step into an unfamiliar freedom. And the warning signs just get louder. First, it was a whisper, a fleeting thought on a Tuesday afternoon. Then it was a detour, a minor setback. Now it is a brick wall. Your health might be faltering. Your sleep is broken. Your mind is racing, trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution. You are exhausted from trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Day after day, year after year, you are standing in the wreckage of your own plans, wondering where you went wrong. But you didn't go wrong. You went right to the edge of your old life. You reached the absolute boundary of what your previous self could tolerate. The road hasn't ended. It has just vanished from where you thought it would be. You are in the wilderness now, and the wilderness is dark. It is lonely. It is stripped of all the comforts and validations you used to rely on. There are no signs out here. There are no maps. There's only you, the dark, and that quiet, relentless voice in your gut that finally has your full attention. But let me ask you to look at this wreckage from a slightly different angle. Imagine a massive, beautifully crafted ship. It was built with reinforced steel, heavy timber, and deep, powerful engines. It was designed to navigate the most violent, beautiful, and profound oceans on Earth. But for years, this ship has been parked in a tiny, shallow harbor. The crew forgot what the vessel was actually made for. They kept it safe. They painted the hull. They tied it tightly to the wooden docks with thick, heavy ropes. Those ropes are your old habits. They are the relationships you outgrew years ago. They are the jobs that barely pay your bills and quietly drain your soul. They are your desperate, human need for the approval of people who do not even understand you. One day, the sky turns black. The water pulls back. A storm rolls in, a hurricane of absolute, terrified divine proportion. The storm does not gently untie the ship. It does not politely ask for permission to move you. It snaps the ropes violently. It rips the metal cleats right out of the rotting wood of the dock. The ship is forcefully, brutally cast out into the freezing black, raging sea. From the perspective of the ship, this is a disaster. It is the end of the world. The safety of the shallow harbor is gone, replaced by spinning, chaotic darkness and crashing waves. You are taking on water. You are terrified. But from the perspective of the ocean, the ship has finally come home. This is the shift in your reality. You are not being destroyed. You are being unmoored. The divine forces of the universe looked down and saw you rotting in a harbor that was entirely too small for your destiny. You were built for the deep water, but you were choosing to play in the puddles because it felt safe. The people who suddenly walked out of your life, they were ropes tying you to the dock. The career path that abruptly ended, the opportunities that evaporated into thin air, ropes. We have this terrible misconception about divine intervention. We like to think of it as a warm, comforting light that gently guides us by the hand toward a field of flowers. We want it to be easy. We want it to be polite. But sometimes divine intervention is a wrecking ball. It swings through the dark and smashes into the prison walls you spent your entire life decorating. And it is agonizing to watch those walls fall. You spent so much time hanging pictures on those walls. You painted them your favorite colors. You learned how to sleep perfectly on the hard floor of that cell. But a beautifully decorated prison is still a prison. You are a chosen one. And you need to understand that being chosen is not a VIP ticket to an easy, glamorous existence. It is not a free pass. It is a heavy, beautiful, demanding burden. It means you simply cannot get away with living a lie. Other people can. You look around and you see them doing it every single day. They can live perfectly comfortable, hollow lives. They can ignore the deeper call of their soul and settle for the bare minimum of spiritual existence. And they seem completely fine. Not you. The moment you try to settle for less than what you were brought to this earth to do, the universe will step in and actively disrupt your peace. That persistent, aching emptiness you feel when you try to conform to society's expectations, that is not depression. That is your spiritual immune system violently rejecting a toxic reality. Your soul is allergic to inauthenticity. Let that sink in for a moment. Let the weight of that truth settle into your bones. You are not broken because you cannot tolerate the fake, surface-level existence that most people eagerly accept. You are functioning perfectly. The pain you are feeling is a symptom of a fiercely healthy spirit fighting off a spiritual infection. So, I want you to look around at the darkness of this wilderness you are standing in right now. Stop running from it. Stop closing your eyes. Let your vision adjust to the dark. This place is not a graveyard. It feels like one because things have died here. Your old ego died here. Your old plans died here. But this darkness is not a tomb. It is soil. You've been buried. Yes, but you are not a corpse. You are a seed. The immense, crushing pressure you feel from every side is just the dirt packing around you. It is the necessary friction required to force the hard, outer shell of your old identity to finally crack open. You are breaking, but you are breaking open. You are being prepared to take root in a reality that is finally vast enough to hold you. So, take a deep, slow breath. Just stop fighting the dirt. Stop trying to frantically gather the shattered pieces of your old life to glue them back together. They are gone, and it is deeply, beautifully okay that they are gone. When you finally stop resisting the divine warning, when you simply refuse to wrestle the universe into submission for one more day, something incredibly profound begins to happen. The suffocating panic starts to recede. The frantic, exhausting need to fix everything right this exact second slowly dissolves into the quiet night air. You realize you do not need to have the next 10 years completely mapped out. You do not even need to have tomorrow figured out. You only need to know how to take the next honest step. There's a quiet, unshakable strength that comes from genuinely surrendering to the unknown. It is crucial to understand that surrender is not giving up. Giving up is throwing your hands in the air and letting the heavy ocean pull you under the waves. Surrender is vastly different. Surrender is floating. It is resting your heavy bones in the water, looking up at the vast black sky, and saying, I do not know where I am going, but I trust the current that is pulling me. I trust that the ancient force powerful enough to tear down my old life is also wise enough to gently rebuild a better one. You can feel it right now, can't you? Beneath the heavy exhaustion, beneath the lingering, beautiful sadness of what you had to leave behind on the shore, there's a tiny, steady ember of peace. It is incredibly faint, but it is undoubtedly there. It is a profound peace of no longer having pretend. It is a quiet, overwhelming relief of setting down a massive burden you were never meant to carry in the first place. You do not have to force the heavy iron doors open anymore. You do not have to perform for people who cannot see your true, inherent value. You are allowed to just be here, sitting in the quiet rubble, and heal. The path ahead of you is not going to be loud. It is not going to look like a cinematic montage of instant success, flashing lights, and eternal happiness. True, grounded alignment rarely looks like that. It is going to be quiet. It is going to be beautifully slow. It will look like drinking a cold glass of water in the early morning and feeling genuinely grateful for the unbroken silence. It will look like calmly walking away from a conversation that drains your spirit without feeling a single ounce of lingering guilt. It will look like trusting your quiet intuition when it whispers to you, even when the whole terrified world is screaming at you to do the exact opposite. You are safe now. The violent storm has passed. The gray clouds are parting, and the wreckage is finally clearing to reveal a new horizon. You are no longer wandering blindly in the wrong direction. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, standing firmly on the sacred ground of your own becoming. Protect this new, fragile space. Guard your energy fiercely. Forgive yourself completely for the years you spent lost and shivering in the woods, because every wrong turn was simply teaching you how to recognize the right one when it finally appeared. Your path is open. The soil is ready. Walk it softly. As we sit here in the quiet aftermath of the storm, I want to take a moment to simply thank you for sharing this sacred space with me. It takes immense courage to look at your life with complete honesty. It takes profound bravery to admit out loud when things are falling apart. And it takes even more bravery to trust that they are actually falling into place. I sincerely hope these words met you exactly where you needed them most today. I hope they offered a small, warm lantern in the dark, a gentle reminder that you are never truly alone on this difficult journey. We are all navigating these deep waters together. Putting together these stories takes hours of dedication. If this video brought you peace today, you can buy me a coffee using the Ko-Fi link in the description. Your volunteer support keeps this channel alive. Thank you for listening.